culture. For many women, particularly, and through their transmission to their sons and husbands, etiquette long fashioned our country's idea and ideal of what it was to pursue a gracious, possibly even a moral, life. Attention to behavior, after all, preoccupied the founders of our nation. 16-year-old George Washington had written his pamphlet, Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior in Company and Conversation, a book of etiquette, believing that everything he already knew about getting on in life was worth sharing with others. Though never a head of state, Emily Post didn't lack for recognition. In 1976, and again in 1990, Life magazine would laud her as one of the most important Americans of the 20th century. Etiquette, by the 1930s having sold over 1 million copies, would continue to be touted in the most unlikely moments and places. The list of extravagant citations the book has received in the past few years alone includes admirers as disparate as P.J. O'Rourke, reminiscing about learning how to fit into society through Emily's book, Joan Didion, using etiquette to confront her grief over her spouse's death, and Tim Page, a Washington Post music critic, discovering that etiquette could help him cope with Asperger's syndrome. In 1934, more than a decade after Etiquette's publication, Ruth Benedict, on the first page of her groundbreaking work, Patterns of Culture, would state that anthropology is the study of human beings as creatures of society. Lacking the intellectual tools to articulate her own cultural philosophy, Emily Post, nonetheless, worked instinctively from a similar model. While Benedict was exploring customs far from her native shores, Emily was a domestic anthropologist, plumbing the homegrown soil for its indigenous fertility. She assumed early on that change was endemic to humanity, and that the human task was to adapt to it, preserving the best of what came before, and integrating what superseded the past. Emily Post's life and work would have been inconceivable without the story of Ellis Island and the millions of immigrants who sought to become what they considered real Americans during Emily's lifetime. Between her engagement party in 1891 and the 12th reprinting of Etiquette in 1924, Ellis Island was terra firma for more than 22 million immigrants. As a little girl, she was granted a singular privilege. While a family friend constructed its base, the Statue of Liberty functioned as her personal dollhouse, allowing the child to play inside its hollow core for weeks. When the statue was completely finished, her beloved father shared the dais with a select group, helping to dedicate Miss Liberty to the American people, especially to those future citizens streaming through the immigration corrals. Such mythical moments braid competing truths about Emily Post and the country she increasingly grew to understand and to appreciate on its own messy terms. Hers was a staggeringly ambitious hodgepodge of a nation that offered liberty and justice to all, but a justice whose blindness, for all its noble intentions, required continual redress. How could the promise that etiquette bestows be maintained throughout the 20th century? How, in the face of massive human and natural evils, could Americans believe that considerate social intercourse remained a significant issue, that politesse mattered? If misleadingly superficial at first glance, however, the lady's solution holds up after all. Emily Post was not alone in maintaining that the art of treating people well is the other side to the act of waging war. Part 1. She must not swing her arms as though they were dangling ropes. She must not switch herself this way and that. She must not shout, and she must not, while wearing her bridal veil, smoke a cigarette. Etiquette, page 373. Chapter 1. It happened like this. In many respects an old tale, with nothing original to recommend it. A society man was caught cheating on his wife, and now his blackmailers agreed he would have to pay. Emily Price Post, the adulterer's wife, was furious. Shocking even herself, for the briefest of moments the usually even-tempered young matron yearned for revenge against her spouse, his lover, the blackmailers, and society.